Yo, welcome to Hard Pass. I am your host, Jacques Slade. Today on the show, we've got Kobe brand news, $50,000 Jordan Dior's, Travis Scott's Jordan cut the check, bringing back memories of sneakers past, the week's hottest releases, and of course, we have our Hard Pass. All right, let's start the show with some hot takes. Shout out to Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford for bringing the black Air Force One energy to their presser before the big fight this past Saturday. But man, check out Mike Tyson, a walking black Air Force One, standing there in the back like, yeah, I could probably still hang with these kids. And you know what? I don't doubt the champ for 1 second at all. It's being reported that the Nike Kobe 6 Italian Camo is getting a Pro Pro in 2024. Honestly, it's not among the top 5 or even the top 10 colorways that I would like to see return, but maybe that's a good thing, you know? If colorways I'm not even thinking about are coming back, then maybe this whole Kobe brand relaunch could be more than just a throwaway line by John Donahoe a few weeks ago. All I got to say is something that I learned from the Kobe system, where you push to be success at success at success. So more Pro Pros, John Donahoe. When you think you've done enough, John Donahoe, more Pro Pros. And when that's done, John Donahoe, guess what? We want more Pro Pros and deep cuts like our pick of the week on the Heat Check. If you're wondering, here's my quick 10 Kobe 6 Pro Pros I want to see come back before the Italian Camo in no particular order. 1, Chaos. 2, Black History Month, the 2011 one. Number 3, Draft Day. Number 4, Rice High School. 5, Lower Merion Aces. 6, Blue Camo. 7, FC Barcelona Home. 8, All-Star Game, Orange County Sunset. 9, Concord. 10, Del Sol. And of course, I have a bonus, the DeMar DeRozan's Nike Kobe 4 Argentina PE, because damn it, it's the most beautiful basketball shoe ever made, so release it. If you're still on the lookout for the Dior Jordan 1 High, Upper Deck has you covered. They were selling 6 pairs in size 13 for $50,000 each. I say had and were because they're actually sold out, and the $50K price tag was because MJ signed them. Now that I think about it, how haven't we seen DJ Khaled running around in J's signed by MJ is actually a little surprising. That's a flex on a flex on a flex. Hashtag Kobe system. But if you still have $50K to burn, might I interest you in some Apple trainers that Sotheby's is selling? You have to be really dedicated to Apple if you want a pair of those for that price. I'd trade like what? I don't know, a multi-pair of old Yeezys for those? Maybe? Shout out to Danielle, aka Sneaker Fan Damn. This meme comparing Travis's upcoming Jordan cut the check with late 2000s favorite Creative Recreation got me good for a minute there. As somebody who's been in this game long enough that I was attending Creative Recreation and super parties and it wasn't that out of place, I appreciated this throwback. Good job. And since we're on the late 2000s vibe, I guess Mischief tapped Paris Hilton to model their Crocs Big Yellow Boot collab. It was gonna be me, but the yellow suit, it just wasn't gonna fit. So let's do a recap of the Kith X-Men Asics Gel Light 3 release at San Diego Comic-Con. I love the comic book people who unbox the sneakers and posted videos about it, because it's about the love of the characters and not about the resale value. Shout out to @NatureBoyChuck. The shoes are almost secondary to the presentation of the shoes. It's kind of cool to see them geek out when they get their character that they wanted to, or pull one of the rarer cards. Not surprisingly, the Wolverine colorway and cards are getting the most attention, and nope, not gonna do it. I've been looking up what Cyclops has been up to since I stopped reading, and nah, I'm not gonna touch that either. He's still mid, Omega, whatever, or not. Anyway, but man, the Hellfire Gala stuff and Nightcrawler becoming a Spider-Man, and you all thought the MCU was hard to keep up with? Speaking of the MCU, Secret Invasion was not great. No spoilers, but if you're wondering how important the show could be if Nick Fury is just chilling in outer space during the Marvel's trailer, well, you don't have to think too hard, at least when it comes to Fury. I will say, the big scroll reveal that people are kind of crapping on right now, they're missing the point. Assuming Marvel can nail the follow-up movies that are set up by this reveal, yes, the movies in plural, and yes, the big if we're being honest, we could see the best on the ground Marvel content since Captain America Winter Soldier. And if it fails, well, there's always James Gunn's DC stuff and literally hundreds of other things to watch on all of the streamers. We're gonna be okay, man. Anyway, it's time for the Heat Check, where we bring you everything that's dropping this week, or more specifically, everything that's dropping on August 1st. There's a bunch, so check this out. Nike Zoom Freak 5 Oreo for $130. Nike Zoom Vomero 5 Supersonic for $175. Adidas Harlem Volume 7 Impact Orange for $160. Adder Air Converse Chuck 70 for $140. Nike Air Flight Huarache Bordeaux. The Nike Air Force 1 Rubik's Cube. The women's Air Jordan 2 Crystal Mint, that's going to be $175. Puma Stewie 2 Team Bank, that's going to be $125, and there's 3 different colorways of that one. Kids Adidas Trey Young 3, that's going to be $130. Adidas Crazy 1 Sunshine, that's $150. Adidas Golf MC80 Spikeless, there's 4 colorways of that ones, and those are $180 each. Then on the 3rd of August, we have the Air Jordan 5 Low Dongdon, the Jordan Luka 2 Matador. We have the Adidas Yeezy Slide Bone, that's going to be a restock. The Puma Stewie 2 Water, that's going to be on August 4th for $125. The Air Jordan 1 Low OG Black Toe, that's on $140. The Air Jordan 13 Wolf Gray, that's on the 5th for $200. The Nike Air Max 2 CB94 Burnished Black and Yellow, that's going to be on the 5th for $160. Then our co-pick of the week is the Nike Nocta Glide, that's on the 1st for $160. After months of teasers by Drake, the second Nike Nocta sneaker finally releases, the Nike Zoom Flight 95 inspired shoe that feels like a make or break moment for Nocta, as the sub-brand has failed to catch on in a big way with the public. Now, if this doesn't become a hit, is it time to reevaluate Drake's cachet and ability to sell product? Or do we just sit back and hope that the third shoe can move the needle? I personally would like to own a pair of these just out of curiosity, but I can also see why this really wouldn't fit in today's sneaker zeitgeist of dunks and sambas. Side note, I hope that the third Nocta sneaker is inspired by the Nike Air Pippen 2. It's not that there's any news of a retro coming down the pipeline, so we might as well get the next best thing. I really like the Nike Air Pippen 2, man. If the guy who used to work here and co-write can convince himself that his constant pleading on this show forced Nike to bring back the home colorway of the Air Penny 1, I might as well shoot my shot as well, right? Right? Then our other co-pick of the week is the Nike Air Flight Huarache Kobe Bryant Away PE. This is going to be on the 1st for $125. So this release should be a cause for celebration and maybe another hint that Nike is serious about building a Mamba brand. If you're not familiar with the story, let's do a little deep dive into it. During the late Kobe Bryant's iconic sneaker free agency in 2003, he was courted by every brand under the sun after buying his way out of Adidas. Nike won, which really shouldn't have been that much of a surprise in retrospect, but not before lacing Bryant up with a variety of PEs from their archives and Jordan brands. While everybody knows about the Air Jordan 3 and the Air Jordan 8 player exclusives, Nike also gave Bryant home and away versions in Laker colors of the Nike Air Flight Huarache, the basketball shoes made famous by Michigan's Fab Five, and a sneaker he wore during his teenage days in Philly. He wore them during his first season with Nike before transitioning to the Huarache 2K4 in, wait a minute, was Kobe secretly a Jalen Rose fan this whole time? Man, that 81 Olives joke that references the 81 points Mamba scored against the Toronto Raptors when Rose was playing there is even funnier now in retrospect. And we know that the Nike Kobe Zoom 1 was Huarache inspired. I'm just saying, Huaraches tell a bigger chunk of Kobe's sneaker history than we realized, man. I'm telling you, this release should be getting all the attention and love now 20 years later. At least it should be getting more attention and love than the home version did when it dropped in 2015. I remember those going on sale and still not selling out. Obviously, the circumstances have changed since then, and those Huaraches now resell for 4 times their retail price. My hope is that there is a healthy amount of these at retail and that more Kobe fans know that this is a piece of their idol's history that fans can get without having to break the bank for his signature shoes. And then our third co-pick of the week is the Nike Sabrina 1 Ionic on August 3rd for $125. And finally, the debut release of Nike Basketball's next signature shoe athlete, Sabrina Ionescu, the Ionic colorway is coming right on time as Ionescu's New York Liberty is at the top of the Eastern Conference while she is balling right now. Ionescu recently recorded her 4th career triple-double and won the WNBA three-point contest in record-breaking fashion. The shoe's look and profile fits right alongside other recent Nike basketball signature debuts like the Nike Ja 1 and the upcoming Nike Book 1, if those leaked images are legit. And with these dropping in unisex sizing, I'm looking forward to seeing how these perform at retail, as dudes tend to grab all the bigger sizes first in fear of missing out, while the smaller sizes are easier to pick up. Regardless, Nike looks to have reloaded with Sabrina, Ja, and Booker after the departure of Kyrie Irving and the quiet sunsetting of Paul George's signature line. Stans will tell you Nike's going to fall apart without Kai and PG, but once upon a time, Kai and PG were the new kids that occupied the space Kevin Durant held down. It's Sabrina's time, and it's going to be interesting to see how they perform on the court and in stores. And here you go. As of this recording, a new wave of Yeezy releases is being planned in August, starting on the 2nd. I guess it's not just a random slide that's getting a restock on the 3rd after all. Anyways, here's the full list of tentative drops according to Sneaker News, although their dates have not been announced as of this recording. We're gonna speed burn through all of this. We have the Adidas Yeezy Boost 350 V2. We have it in bone. We have it in static. We have it in granite. We have it in dark salt. We have it in hyperspace. We also have the Adidas Yeezy Boost 350 Compact V2 in slate bone. We have it in slate onyx. We have the Adidas Yeezy 450 in stone gray. The Adidas Yeezy Boost 700 analog. The Adidas Yeezy 700 V3 in azil. And then the Adidas Yeezy Boost 700 in utility black. But then we also have the Adidas Yeezy 700 V3 in copper fade. Now, as far as the Adidas Yeezy slide goes, we have slate marine, granite, slate gray. We have the Adidas Yeezy foam runner in carbon, stone salt, desert sand, stone taupe. Taupe? Is it taupe or top? Taupe? Yeah, we're going to go with taupe. It's stone taupe. And speaking of Yeezys, it's time for this week's Hard Pass, where we take a look at something in the culture that just needs to go. Like the idea that Adidas is nothing without Kanye. Or is it that Kanye is nothing without Adidas? Whatever. But there's actual Yeezy sneaker news, so we're actually going to talk about it. It's being reported by the Financial Times that the Three Stripes earned $560 million in revenue from the first wave of their unloading of leftover Yeezy stock. If you remember, it was announced that Adidas and Kanye had to come to an agreement to sell the remaining Yeezys, and that portions of the proceeds will go to organizations that combat against discrimination and hate. As you might expect, the 560 million number has elicited a number of reactions in the community. We've got Kanye fans coming out of the woodwork declaring this is a victory for Kanye because it shows how much Adidas needs him to even exist as a company. Right, because Adidas went out of business the day after they cut ties with Kanye last year. How did they even make it this far without Kanye? Look, there's no doubt that Kanye helped boost, pun intended, Adidas' bottom line. But the notion by his stance that the brand would not survive post-Kanye was stupid. Full stop. There are even some comments declaring that this is a sign that Kanye is back with Adidas, or that this was all some sort of master plan by the two parties to generate hype for Yeezys. Another sigh. Yes, Kanye really burned almost all of his personal and business relationships, and Adidas risked their own reputation by associating with said bridge burner just to sell some shoes. Final sigh. Okay then. Meanwhile, there are people who, let's just say, are not fond of Kanye anymore, declaring the news is a victory as well. How? Well, because it supposedly proves that Kanye fans are hypocrites. Why? Well, because the logic goes that if these stans really cared about Kanye, they would not buy the remaining Yeezy stock as a sign of solidarity and prove that Adidas really is nothing without Kanye. The Yeezys actually selling out and producing as much revenue as it did shows that Kanye's relevance is waning and that there are people out there who no longer associate Yeezy with Kanye and just want the shoes. They couldn't care less about Kanye anymore. His job is done. Right. So the side that still rides for Kanye is claiming this is a victory, while the side that is done with Kanye is doing the same. In other words, welcome to the internet, people. It's kind of dumb, man. My take is that the longer Kanye is out of the spotlight, the more people will miss him and forget all the dumb shit he said. Like it or not, if he's disciplined enough, he can win back some, but not all, of the goodwill he torched. It's not impossible to see him back with Adidas with enough time, contrition, and people who don't care. We are a forgiving society and a forgetful one too, especially for those who we consider our heroes and idols at one time. The Kanye comeback can happen if, and there is a big if, he's willing to put in the work. But if he continues to double down and declare himself the victim, well, he's got his stands that will never leave him and the money he'll rake in as Adidas sells the remaining Yeezys. Speaking of which, the leftover Yeezys will continue to sell for as long as Adidas has leftover Yeezys to sell, and we will see the same, quote, look how much money the Yeezys brought in, end quote, headlines until there's no more Yeezys to sell. If Adidas decides to make new Yeezys minus Yeezy branding in the future, those will sell too. It won't sell out immediately as before or garner as much press and hype, but they will sell. Just like Air Jordan Retros sell now, regardless of how much Michael Jordan is in the news. Yeezys that barely had Kanye-specific branding in the first place will move units for Adidas. And people will argue about it in the comments forever because that's what they do. If Yeezys continue to sell, Stans will say Adidas sucks and Kanye is keeping them alive. If Yeezys bomb, Stans will say it's because Adidas sucks and Kanye compelled them to not buy the shoes. And we'll be here chronicling the Kanye saga the only way we know how, when there's actual news. All right, that's going to do it for the show today. Thank you guys for watching Hard Pass. I am Jacques Slade. I'll see you next week. If you'd like to possibly be featured in a future episode, call us at 818-493-9325. Leave a short message or socials if you want, no more than 30 seconds. All right, I'll see you guys next week. Peace.